The resources for Chinese studies in Taiwan. In this video, we would like to introduce Taiwan as a wonderful choice to do research in the field of sinology, Chinese studies, and Taiwan studies. We will introduce the Center for Chinese Studies, Research Grant for Foreign Scholars, and the digital resources for Chinese studies in Taiwan. Taiwan, surrounded by ocean, is a beautiful island where Chinese culture is well preserved. It is not only a country beautiful with natural sceneries, but also a convenient, safe place full of many top research institutions, museums, and archives. The atmosphere in Taiwan is liberal and easygoing, and the people most friendly, ideal for research on Chinese culture. Center for Chinese Studies, Taiwan. The Center for Chinese Studies was established in 1981. The center's mission is to promote Chinese studies, encourage cooperation and exchange among sinologists in Taiwan and abroad, and provide research services. The CCS is housed in the National Central Library, and the Director General of the NCL serves as the Director of the CCS. The National Central Library is the sole national library of Taiwan. Its mission is to acquire, catalog, and preserve national publications, as well as significant international publications for government, research, and general public use. We have comfortable study areas, advanced equipment, as well as rich collections. Located on the 6th floor of the NCL are the CCS Materials Division and the Mateo Ricci and Pacific Studies Reading Room, which provide a variety of circulation and advisory services. Main services the CCS provide includes Chinese Studies Resource Services, publication of periodicals and books, academic activities held in Taiwan or abroad, and research grant for international scholars. Chinese Studies Resource Services. The CCS maintains collections of domestic and foreign works on Chinese studies. These include books and journals from mainland China, Western language dissertations in Chinese studies, photo reprints of rare books from overseas libraries, newly revised gazetteers from mainland China, in electronic databases, indices, and bibliographies. The CCS website provides more information on these services. Publication of periodicals and books. The CCS regularly publishes 2 print journals and 1 e-newsletter. Chinese Studies. It is an international academic journal focused on publishing articles and book reviews on Chinese literature, history, and philosophy. Submissions are welcome in Chinese or English. The Newsletter for Research in Chinese Studies. It reports on trends in local and overseas Chinese studies research and includes summaries of research findings, important research projects, and news on Chinese studies institutions. E-Newsletter for Research in Chinese Studies. From 2006, the Center also began publishing the E-Newsletter for Research in Chinese Studies in order to present academic news in a timely fashion. This free publication is sent out to subscribers via email on the 1st of every month. All CCS publications are simultaneously published in paper and electronic editions and can be found on the CCS website. Academic activities held in Taiwan or abroad. The CCS is an active participant in academic activities held both in Taiwan and abroad. For example, in the past years, the CCS has attended the annual meetings of the Association for Asian Studies and the European Association for Chinese Studies, and held books exhibitions at the conferences. By holding such book exhibitions, The CCS provides a showcase for Chinese studies carried out and published in Taiwan. After the book exhibition, the exhibits were donated to the local university library. In order to promote interaction and exchange between scholars in Taiwan and overseas, the CCS not only participates in conferences, but also sponsors international academic conferences and symposia every year. Since 2011, the National Central Library has worked with the government to establish the Taiwan Academy overseas. The NCL has set up resource points in New York, Los Angeles, and Houston. And sponsored academic activities such as the Taiwan Lectures on Chinese Studies. By inviting well-known scholars to give lectures at prestigious universities and institutions in the U.S., we hope to introduce the latest progress of the field of Chinese studies to the world. In addition, the NCL also held exhibitions showcasing some of NCL's rare collections and ancient copies of books and scripts, thus introducing Taiwan's academic culture and fort to the world. In 2012, the NCL began setting up Taiwan Resource Center for Chinese Studies Abroad. It is a platform for Taiwan to promote and share its resources in both Taiwan and Chinese studies with scholars and university students. More resource centers are scheduled to be set up in the future. Research grants for foreign scholars. Taiwan provides many scholarships and fellowships to assist foreign scholars to conduct their Chinese and Taiwan research in Taiwan. Grants administered by CCS include Research Grant for Foreign Scholars in Chinese Studies and Taiwan Fellowship. Since 1989, the Center for Chinese Studies has offered the Research Grants for Foreign Scholars in Chinese Studies, which every year provides research stipends and travel subsidies to international scholars of Chinese studies who are interested in conducting research in Taiwan. To date, the Research Grant for Foreign Scholars in Chinese Studies has assisted approximately 400 scholars from 40 countries. Due to the great success of the Research Grant for Foreign Scholars in Chinese Studies, in 2010, the CCS was tasked with administering the Taiwan Fellowship, a new grant offered by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Taiwan Fellowship is established to award foreign experts and scholars interested in research topics related to Taiwan, cross-strait relations, mainland China, the Asia-Pacific, and Chinese studies to conduct advanced research at universities or academic institutions in Taiwan. Both CCS Grant and Taiwan Fellowship provide one round-trip economy class ticket and monthly grants. The terms of research are 3 to 12 months. Applications are done online on the CCS and Taiwan Fellowship official website. The CCS provides study rooms, resources of Chinese studies, and introduction to domestic institutions and scholars to visiting scholars. The CCS regularly arranges seminars for visiting scholars. Each year, the CCS hosts more than 20 sessions of seminars. The center also arranges cultural activities for visiting scholars to promote their acquaintance with Taiwan's culture and other visiting scholars. Festival and holiday celebrations include year-end celebration party, Dragon Boat Festival Feast, Moon Festival Tea Party, and National Day Reception. In order to encourage continued friendships between the center and previous grant recipients, In 2011, we established the Center for Chinese Studies Scholars Worldwide and set up a corresponding group on Facebook to provide a channel for communication between all visiting scholars and the center. Each year, the CCS invites scholars to come back and give a speech on their latest research. We hope to see you in Taiwan conducting your own research in the near future. Digital resources for Chinese studies in Taiwan. Taiwan is a treasure trove rich in all sorts of resources, especially in the field of Chinese and Taiwan studies. In order to exhibit the accomplishments of Taiwan's academic research, the Center for Chinese Studies has published the Selected Digital Resources for Chinese Studies in Taiwan to introduce Taiwan's digital resources, including approximately 100 of Taiwan's most significant Taiwan Studies ethnological research websites and databases. Each entry comes with a brief English introduction. The Virtual Taiwan Academy website is a platform highlighting the unique qualities of Chinese culture and showcasing Taiwan's achievements in preserving Chinese culture. The Taiwan e-learning and digital archives program is one of the most important portal websites which digitizes various kinds of archives kept in both public and private institutions in Taiwan. It provides the global community with an in-depth and convenient way to appreciate Taiwan's culture and digitization achievements. Resource websites provided by the National Central Library include the National Central Library official website, an online catalog, thesis and dissertations in Taiwan, Index to Taiwan Periodical Literature System, Taiwan Citation Index of Humanities and Social Sciences, NCL Gazette Online, Integrated search of selected resources at the National Central Library, and National Bibliographic Information Network. The NCL also has websites for specific subjects. For Taiwan studies, there are the Taiwan Memory website and Taiwan Local Document Image Database. For Chinese studies, there are the Rare Books Image Search System, Online Exposition of Special Collections website, and Center for Chinese Studies Subject Database. Academia Sinica, the most preeminent academic institution in Taiwan, also has many rich websites, such as the Scripta Sinica database and Chinese Civilization in Time and Space database. Other useful websites include the National Palace Museum official website, Academia Historica Collections online search website, Taiwan Historica Document Archive, and the National Taiwan University Library website. You may have more information on all the websites above from the Selected Digital Resources for Chinese Studies in Taiwan booklet. Through this brief introduction, it is our hope to provide you with some insight to some of the many resources you can find in Taiwan, such as scholarships and research materials. We look forward to seeing you in Taiwan.